We who are in the sphere of right-wing discourse have frequently spoken of the meddling of organizations, institutions, and corporations that are controlled by our ideological opponents. Build your own social media company. Build your own payment processors. Build your own publishing house, bank, credit card company, etc., etc. I had begun an Excel spreadsheet listing businesses which classified them by ideological leaning, but that project has gone by the wayside temporarily, since most, if not all, corporations are overtly woke. We are now seeing encouraging signs of up-and-coming businesses, which I have identified in my limited search. Many of them are in the publishing and news realm. This is especially important as the legacy media sources, as well as big tech, continue to expend the trust that the public had placed in them. However, some of them are surprisingly based or anti-communist businesses, and they're very open about this, and they sell things other than information. You can buy such things as coffee, tea, bed sheets, or protein products, just to give a few examples. These may seem like small, trifling things, but they will grow if given enough resources. Now, what does this give us? Well, it should by this point go without saying that giving your money, or any resource for that matter, to our enemies is a misstep which cannot be overlooked. We live in an era of cancellations, deplatformings, and now increasingly indoctrinations and outright anti-white discrimination, as well as the looming possibility of vaccine passports. This style of patronage therefore gives us two things. First, the ability to create our own financial and business networks which are immune, or at least resistant to, cancellation. This could be tailored to the situation, and depending on how bad things get, be utilized in a similar manner to the old Green Book which American blacks used in pre-civil rights America for traveling around the country, and obviously needing to know which businesses were willing to cater to them. In light of recent developments with COVID-19, this is especially important in developing an underground market to get around such restrictions. But for now, I'm mostly thinking of creating a way to keep right-wingers solvent in the hopes that they can grow big enough to be able to provide a safe place to go in the event that someone from our circles gets fired from their job because they refuse to participate in their own brainwashing, or are simply refused service because they were speaking hate or didn't get the vaccine or whatever. Second, should these businesses grow large enough, then they could compete with corporate America for talent, as well as the promulgation and arbitration of truth. If they are profitable, they can be used to fund our activist and organizational class, which of course would be separate from the mainstream GOP political organizations. Build your own elite class, right? Think of the benefits of a right-wing version of the ADL, or Right Wing Watch, or even Hope Night Hate, or the SPLC. Even at minimum, a right-wing version of Media Matters would help so much in the contest of competing narratives. If you're upset at those pesky news outlets posthumously editing their articles so that your normie friends just roll their eyes and ask you what the big deal is, well, just consult the right-wing Media Matters archive for the applicable New York Times or Washington Post article. These types of organizations are extremely useful in ensuring that the questioning and disproving of official narratives becomes near instantaneous. Call them out on their shit. The right needs to get better at being able to utilize its own institutions to wield the power of truth. At this point, every advantage must be wielded to ensure survival in the short term, no matter how small. And for the love of God, don't buy from Amazon. Or if you must buy from Amazon, make sure you are donating to a friendly institution such as the Mises Institute via Amazon Smile. Even if the amount that Amazon actually gives out in donations is a pittance, it is better that your guys are getting something out of it if you have to use Amazon for whatever reason. That being said, this sort of patronage is relatively simple and can achieve real results in taking power from the left. Once the fear incentive goes away and the consideration of profit comes into play, The average middle-class, upwardly mobile person is less likely to go with whatever narratives are being sold to them by the regime. Buy from the many up-and-coming right-wing publishers and booksellers. Want your own elite class? Build your own. Patronize exclusively. If you've got good material yourself, by all means, put it out there and get monetized. Now, the problem of grift is a considerable one, and assuming that we achieve any tangible financial power and not get deplatformed, etc., then eventually grifters will come to our side. It is important to not allow grifters to take over, and certainly they must be gatekept. But grifters go where incentives are, and if someone is our guy at this moment, it's unlikely that they are a grifter because they are risking a lot by going against the dominant powers that be. Grifters also are a marker of success, since if they come, then we will A, be sufficiently powerful enough and successful for the negative social consequences or financial consequences of being involved with us simply not matter, or B, our opponents will be so weak and powerless that the disciplinary consequences with which we are all familiar will no longer be an effective tool for policing the Overton window. Therefore, grifters are mercenaries. But policing grifters is a long-term problem, which we will not need to worry about just yet. This is a project which has a very good long-term return on investment. I know that many of us are worried about the short and mid-term prospects of survival, but we can't sacrifice the future because we fear what might happen tomorrow or next year. We have to build, even if we are under threat of having everything torn down, and we have to build it faster than they can destroy. Building our own intellectual, cultural, and financial networks will help people like us expand into other business and media arenas. Yes, buying from the small producer usually comes with higher costs to the consumer than from purchasing at large outlets. But at this point, the right needs to put its money where its mouth, brain, and heart are. At the bare minimum, don't give your money to people who literally hate your guts.